G'day you mob, Blacky here. Just happened to land some algae wafers on top of my log. Thought, what an opportunity, what an interesting opportunity to wait and see how long it takes for these thousands upon thousands of bristlenose to discover them sitting up here. But considering they all didn't land on the log and some landed down here and some landed over here, perhaps it might take them a while to find the ones up here. So that could be a jip. But anyway, might as well have a wander through this tank while we're here. Hello you guy. This is not in fact a fish, but some kind of winged insect of the moth variety, I believe. He looks pretty interesting, but you know, let's go for a stroll. There's some bristlenose, there's a rock, there's a large rock, there's a potted plant, a bacopa of some variety. There's some Java moss. I gave that a bit of a prune tonight. It was getting out of control, as Java moss does. Bristlenose on the tablets. Good find, lad. Good find. That was a pretty guppy. These guys down here, they're doing their thing. They're hungry. They want to eat. Oh, you never see those two guys together. Two shiny blue and black and red guppies. And now they've separated again. That was a one-off and you saw it here first. Got this interesting little water lily here that I sequestered from the wild. Interestingly enough though, it's doesn't seem to want to reach for the heavens. It just keeps producing leaves down at this level. Still looks okay for mine. This crinkly temple plant, now that I've got it secured under the substrate, has finally got a bit of new growth. A bit more bacopa. And some guppy grass. Got myself some guppy grass from Mr. Bond 007. He's a fella on the Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, who grows himself a fairly large quantity of guppy grass and sells it off to humans who want it. He's got a Facebook thingy where you can hit him up if you want to pick up some guppy grass from the Gold Coast. I'll try and remember to pop a link in the description. He's a good bloke. He was very tolerant of my inability to communicate effectively with my brother to collect it at the designated time. But we got it eventually. I want to say a shit ton, but I don't necessarily want to swear on my YouTube channel, but I got a shit ton of it. Got some growing in multiple different tanks. And yeah, that stuff really does grow in the crack of your bum if you sit still long enough. So they tell me. Anyway, that's the big five. It's a bit disappointing that just this one lone little bristlenose has... Oh, you know, that's an interesting thing. I digress, and sorry to break out on a different story, but I have two dominant male bristlenose in this tank. One's an albino and one's a common. And the common never seems to be sitting on eggs. However, I am getting fresh new bunches of the common bristlenose babies. And what I suspect is happening is that the common is fertilizing eggs and owning his little cave, and then once the albino guy spits his eggs out, he goes and raids the commons cave, kicks him out of the cave, and actually raises his babies. Because the common never seems to spend more than a night or two on eggs before he gets booted out. It's an interesting predicament, but here's old mate over here. Here's my big old male breeder. He's been hanging out under this rock for about 3 days now. I think he's just sick of fatherhood. Unless he's starting to pump eggs out up under that rock and I just haven't found any yet. But he's, yeah, he's been not hanging out in caves. But I have had quite a few new little common bristlenose popping up in the tank. It's been rather interesting. Got myself some cherry shrimp just to try and clean the muck out of the Java moss. They're pretty tiny, so they're not really, I think it grows, the muck grows faster than those guys can take care of it, but 2 of the cherry shrimp I got were heavily buried, so fingers crossed they might burst into life soon and I'll have a crap load of them floating around in the tank as well. Anyway, quick look, oh not really quick look, we're nearly at 7 minutes, Blacky, what are you on about? Quick out of focus glance at what's going on here. This camera really is rubbish. Doesn't do the tank any justice and it makes my voice sound really crazy. Like some weird Australian yobbo backyard fella. That I might just be, but I'm, you know, maybe in a little bit of denial. Anyway, I've cracked the 7 minute mark. This is the 5 footer. Going nuts with life. Guppies everywhere, bristlenose everywhere. Look at that thing, delicious. Big fins, big tail, neon glow. Want some babies from that. Alright, that'll do. Friday night inspirationals with Blacky. Oh, I just wish this camera would focus. Anyway, besides the point. Have a good night. Enjoy your weekend. Happy whatever it is going on this weekend for you. Behave yourselves. I'll check yous.